Hello and welcome to Mech Warrior 5.2, brought to you by Commando Gaming and Battletech Battles. 5.2 is where we take Mech Warrior 5. We add a whole bunch of mods because there's a lot of mods available because Prana Games is providing excellent mod support. And there were a couple of things that were quirky about the base game that these mods do a lot of things to improve. It's like a whole new game. It's much more playable. I would say before mods came out, I'd give this game an 8 out of 10. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 now. It's much more playable. Maybe I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10, to be honest, before the mods came out. Now I probably give it a 9. So it's a significant improvement in gameplay. So I really recommend that everybody explores the mods. I've played about an hour off camera since our last video. We've made some additions to our lance. As you can see, we picked up a stalker and a battle master, which were very nice additions to our mech bay. So I've teed up a mission and let's get right into the action. I'm taking a stalker. I'm taking another stalker. We have an awesome that has 3 PPCs and a large laser. Very powerful awesome, given that firepower. It also has maxed out double heat sinks, so it can, as you can see, the heat cooling is 2.96, so it should be able to fire these weapons pretty consistently. And then we have our Battle Master with a PPC, 4 medium lasers, and I put an AC2 BF 4 tier on it. And I'm really excited to have the Battle Master. The Battle Master is a very underrated mech for its tonnage. It could take a lot of damage. It's really good at tanking. Has pretty good maneuverability and speed for its size. So I'm excited to have that. So this should be a nice group for a demolition mission. We're actually working for the Mercenary Review Board. So that's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever done that before, worked for the Mercenary Review Board. So that's something new. Or if I have, maybe I just didn't notice that's who I was working for. So in Battletech lore, the Mercenary Review Board is how you get your ranking and how you are able to work as a mercenary. If the Mercenary Review Board does not license you, you are basically a pirate or basically a pirate. Alright, Alright. With good pilots and the firepower that we have, these VTOLs really are not a problem. Nice crossfire on those PPCs. As usual, with a demolition mission, I'll be focused on doing the actual demolition. We're going to start that at long range here. Why not? Not only does that reduce the damage you have to take when you get to the base, but it also tends to draw out the defenders. Here they come. Alright, we got an Igor. Oh, just a little high on that shot. Lots of Igors here. Oh, we got an Irby sneaking up on us from behind, huh? Looks like this was kind of an ambush. Or they may have dropped a lance behind us while we were distracted. That's probably what happened here. Oh, we got a Centurion. This good salvage potential here. Cool off for a minute. Also see if we could do some damage at long range here. Another enemy lance dropping. In on us. As much as an Irby could sneak up on you, right? Right, we definitely should have some good salvage opportunities out of this mission already. See if we can crest this ridge. No, we gotta go around. We've already done a fair amount of damage. At long range here. Dropping, it looks like. We'll let our lance focus on that. We'll keep working on destroying the buildings here. My stalker. Be able to handle these cicadas without too much trouble. Try to help them out a little, but my primary job is to do damage to these buildings. We're almost there. Javelin and a cicada. We should be able to get out of here now. As you can see, the lance has suffered minor damage, which is good, because what we're going to do is anything less than 100,000 C-bills that we can repair in the war zone, we're probably going to do, just so we can keep taking as many missions as possible, because we're kind of far from the closest industrial hub. So in this situation, it makes sense to try to burn through as many missions as we can before we go back to the industrial hub. But as your mechs start taking significant damage, it's still better off to engage in a return to the industrial hub. You know, and that's the thing, when you're close to the industrial hub, where it's just a jump or two away, it makes sense just to go back and forth. But in this case, we're actually, I think, 4 jumps away from the jump point, so each time we travel, it's going to be a significant cost in C-bills and time. So that's what makes a decision to just do some war zone repairs, if they're minor, something that you definitely want to consider. Alright, we got some decent salvage here. Makes the trip worth our while. Not too much damage here, so we can actually do, we could probably do repairs to that entire lance. Yeah. As long as it's less than 100,000, then I have no problem doing repairs in the field. It's when you have massive repairs, for example, this Marauder, which I picked up previously, would be 160,000. That's probably the point where I want to say, yeah, we'll just wait till we get to the next location. Alright, so we've got quite a few mechs that are just a day away. So let's wait. There we go. We should have enough for the next mission. Because, as we know, missions actually take actual time. So, let's see what we have available. We've got a Warzone mission. I do love the Warzone missions. Warzones are a lot more fun. Oh wait, no, this is a raid, sorry. But still, raids are a lot more fun when you have the ability to engage in better drops. There's a better enemy spawn mod, which makes Warzone missions infinitely more fun. Alright, so this is a raid, so we'll accept. Alright, so what do we have that is ready to go? Alright, we have my Command Banshee, one of my favorite mechs. We picked up another Banshee. It's not my favorite, because like with most Banshees, the weapons are pretty limited on it as far as what you can put on. But it does soak up a lot of damage, so we're going to take that Banshee. This is a raid mission, so Banshees are decent for raid missions. We also have a Zeus that's pretty fast, which will be good for this mission. And what else do we have? And we'll take a Black Knight just to round this out. Sometimes you gotta move the mechs around. There we just to get them to generate. Once they generate as a full picture, that means the mission will continue to load. Sometimes one of the mods that I picked up, there's something with it that's causing you to confirm Lance a couple times to get the mission to completely load up. There we go. Alright, so let's look at this Banshee. I was never a fan of the Banshee because of things like this Banshee 3E, because it is very limited in the weapons that it could take. But then I found this 3S, and then Banshee's got a lot more interesting for me because it has, well, I added an ER PPC, I added an Ultra Cannon 5, it has a regular PPC, 4 medium lasers, and an LRM-10. There's actually more weapons points available, but I had to take weapons off simply to avoid overheating. So that shows you how many weapon points the Banshee 3S has. And it is unlike any Banshee I've ever played before. I actually like it quite a bit. Because it has the dual PPCs, lots of medium lasers, the ability to add an ultra cannon, and still have missiles. So the Banshee 3S actually makes a really good command mech because you're able to have every weapons type on it. And it's a pretty effective weapon for sure. So, right, here we go. We're ready to go. Alright, so this is a raid mission. Banshee also has pretty decent speed for an assault. You know, one thing I would like to get feedback from our audience is how much do you use jump jets in Mech Warrior 5? I don't use them very much. Number one, I've never been a big fan of them as a pilot. I don't really see a significant advantage to using them. I still feel like the enemy has just as much chance, has maybe slightly less chance of hitting you, but still, I don't know if it's worth losing the tonnage for weapons. So I'm just not a big fan of jump jets. And the AI has yet to use jump jets in a way that I think makes them worth anything. They use them just to move around the map. They don't actually use them for any significant pathing. Alright, so we're going to go for this far target, even though it's a little farther away. And then we're going to work our way around. Because we have 3 targets close together. The big fear whenever you are engaging multiple raid targets at the same time is you're going to trigger all 3 garrisons and they're going to come at you possibly from 3 or 4 directions, depending on how many are close. And generally speaking, you don't want that, especially if you're going to have a bunch of Igors coming at you from multiple directions. It's just not a good place to be. As you can see, we're kind of getting that right now. We're having a lot of turrets and garrison troops coming at us all at once. Alright, come on guys. As you can see here again, we're kind of getting multiple Igor waves all at the same time. Now the good thing is that our target should be relatively cleared out by the time we get there, except for turrets. So we do have that going for us. And in fact, we've cleared out a lot of targets here. Be able to just take out these two targets from the top of this hill here. My AI doesn't beat me to it. Oh, we got an enemy drop, enemy lance dropping here. Have the lance work on the hunchback there. We'll take out those SRM launchers. Too bad. Nothing worse than when you lose some potential salvage for the loss of a reactor. Alright, here's another wave of VTOLs. They're not particularly concerning at this level of the game. They're just kind of a nuisance. Even Igors really, as long as you get them in a timely manner, are not too bad. Alright, so we ended up taking out that raid target. We got two more left. Try to save my heat for the primary targets. Oh, hello, Igor. Got a locust. Got that SRM carrier before we have any problems. More target for this raid. Easy peasy. I don't think our Zeus has even taken any material damage yet. Most of the lance, if we could take out this last target without too much damage, can probably be repaired in the field, which means we can go yet another mission before we go to the industrial hub. And again, it really comes down to how far away you are from the industrial hub as far as what you want to do with respect to repairing things in the field. It's a equation of time, money, and kind of boredom, right? So, like, how much game time do I want to spend going back and forth to industrial hubs? If it makes sense not to do it, I won't. I'll try to stay away from the industrial hub as long as possible. But eventually, even your best pilots are going to get in situations where your mechs take enough damage that it's just going to be cheap, significantly cheaper for you to go back to the industrial hub. So sometimes you have to pick your battles, and that's okay. We got a spider. Let's let our lance focus on taking out that spider. I'll focus on the primary target. Don't mind softening up the spider a little bit for my lance. There goes our target. Oh, we got some Igors. Try to pick them off at long range if we can. If there's one negative that I still don't feel that the modding community hasn't addressed is the fact that LRMs really can't be used to their full potential a lot of the time simply because of the range of your sensors. If there was a way to get some, even if it cost you a ton of armor, of weight, to maybe extend your sensors to the point where LRMs are more useful, that would be something I definitely would like to see. Pretty successful mission here. The whole lance basically can be repaired in the war zone.
Let's get out of here, Commander. Job well done.
Which makes it a successful win-win scenario. Look at that, damage taken, virtually none. Ooh, we're getting that Hunchback as salvage. Nice payout there for sure. Grab as many better medium lasers as we can. Even if it's not the best thing to do, because we could use some more medium lasers. So our whole lance can be repaired pretty easily here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, the idea is to just stay in the field as long as possible. Before we go back to the industrial hub. Alright, so let's see what contracts we have available still. In this, we still have 2 more contracts available. So we got a counterattack. They're both basically raid missions. So we'll accept those because they have decent rewards because we have good relationships. Ironically, oh, St. Ives Compact. I think this is the first time I've seen the St. Ives Compact as a target, which is interesting because the St. Ives Compact is not on the map. If you look at the star map, But the St. Ives Compact was a break-off segment of the one of the House Liao territory. So maybe they're just rebels here and they haven't actually established their independence yet, but they're calling themselves St. Ives Compact. I don't know. Kind of an interesting question. All right, so we got a raid. So I'm gonna take my favorite stalker. We're gonna take our Battlemaster. With raids, I try to take the smaller mechs at my disposal. Let's see. A Cyclops, we'll take the Orion here. Orion's not exactly the fastest mech, but it should be okay for a raid mission. Alright, so as you can see, I've got an Archer in storage that's mine, a Cataphract in storage that's mine. We have our K9, which we use to get double heat sinks whenever we need it. And we've got a Commando Hero Mech that I keep just because I want to collect Hero Mechs. But in addition to that, from a salvage standpoint, and I have a Thunderbolt here that used to be mine, but I don't know if I want to keep it anymore. So we got lots of stuff we can sell as salvage already. When we go back to the industrial hub, we probably have time for 2 more missions before we go to the industrial hub. And that'll probably be the end of this video. And we'll get this posted. And what we're going to do, if you're watching these as they come out, probably tomorrow, I'm going to have some significant time to do some videos. Also tomorrow, one of the things I'm going to work on, it was kind of postponed, is we have our Jeff Talks Mech series, where I take a mech, talk about its history, talk about the positives and minuses, and show you a little Mech Warrior 5 gameplay. So we're going to be continuing our series on that. We actually have the Thunderbolt up next. So I'll probably get that video out tomorrow if you're watching for that. And then what we're going to try to get back to doing, I had some travel for work the last few weeks, is I want to get back to having 2 Jeff Talks Mechs videos a week so we can cover a lot of mechs. You know, theoretically that means we can cover 8 mechs a month, and actually that still gives us plenty of things to talk about because there's so many mechs to talk about. But let's just jump into this mission here. This is another raid mission. And while they want us to destroy buildings, my primary concern is to max out salvage. We want to get 1 or 2 mechs for salvage each mission to really make the most out of our salvage opportunities. There's nothing more disappointing for me is that when I get through a mission and I don't have a mech for
Reactor
salvage.
online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Our employer wants a selected number of buildings taken out. Intel provided by them can only give the general area they're located at. You'll have to recon the precise objectives on site. This area is heavily guarded, so watch out for hostile
Alright,
reinforcements.
so I think we can basically go from right to left here. These raid targets are pretty widely distributed, which means we should get through this mission with minimal damage. It's usually when raid targets are close together that you end up in situations where you end up with lots of damage. when you have good pilots, I actually tend to let my pilots take out some of these smaller targets unless they're having trouble with them, because it lets your pilots get some experience, which we would like to see. If you steal all the kills from your lance, you know, sure, it's a lot more fun, but your pilots aren't going to progress so quickly. So when it's like VTOLs or skirmishers or Jaeger or J. Edgars, things of that sort, I usually just try to let my lance take them out because they need their kills so they can progress with their skills. Alright, there goes the target. Record speed. Alright, we got an enemy lance dropping behind us, including a BJ here. And a Manticore. Let's have our lance focus on the Manticore. That BJ went down in record time. Hopefully we'll get some good salvage. Oh, we got a commando flanking us. Pretty sneaky there. I'd like to know where that commando might have been guarding that raid target, and it was just on patrol when we came and destroyed it. So that's why it showed up late to the party, would be my guess. Actually, we got to go around this way to get into that valley. Looks like. One thing I would like to see the mod community come out with is maybe a way to take out the coloring effects on the map. Like, it's okay for most maps, but for maps that have snow, having a map that has snow on it really makes it hard to see some of the terrain details. And this is speaking from someone that actually has military training on maps, and it's still difficult at times for me because you don't see a lot of the nuance in the terrain because it's all just painted white. So I would love it if there was a mod that would make all the maps green or brown, something so you don't constantly have to, because the white is very hard to figure out the terrain features sometimes. Just a small thing I would like the community to take a look at. I think that would be cool. Somebody asked me once, like, why don't you do some mods? Because I come up with lots of mod ideas. Mods are not my expertise, and sometimes you got to know your strength. I know it's been echoed in the community that people are a little frustrated with that, so hopefully someone will come up with that mod. That would be cool. Overheating here, even in the snow environment. We got a locust. Oh, darn it. Why are you... we got some Igor action here. Again, my lance is doing a good job, so I don't necessarily have to get involved with every kill. Alright, so our next targets are all in this valley here, so let's just go down to that valley. Most of our lance has very minor damage at this point, so again, we could probably do repairs here and not go back to the industrial hub for one more mission. Each mission we can do without going back to that industrial hub is a positive. I don't even know what that target. Oh,
Sorry, Commander. I can't target that.
it's great when your pilots are so good that they can take out targets before you even know there's a target to worry about.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target
Just like that. You know, your base VTOL models,
destroyed.
I love to just let my targets take care of, so I can, as a commander, I can handle things on more of a strategic and tactical level and let my pilots have a little fun by taking out VTOLs and things of that nature. Once your pilots get above level 45 or so, you can really trust them to pretty much handle things themselves. Before then, you have to do a lot of micromanaging, especially when your lance will tend to shoot, can we not? This is a classic example of where the map messes me up. Because it's really hard to tell that you can't go up there. We should be able to go this way to get to that target, but it's a little frustrating. We got a locust. We'll let our lance handle the locust.
Enemy destroyed.
Target destroyed. Target
Come on,
acquired.
guys. Why are you
We're on it.
taking so long to destroy locusts? This should not be a thing. Whoa. You should not have scenarios where a locust is keeping my whole lance tied up for that long.
Destroyed.
Still, they're tied up with that locust. I'm not understanding what's going on here.
Enemy reactor breach detected.
Alright. So on top of that, they didn't even get any salvage. I'm disappointed in you guys. Oh!
Copy on
Come on, let's get those VTOLs, guys.
Enemy destroyed. Enemy went down.
Alright. Now I gotta figure out the best way to get over there. See, this is exactly where I get frustrated. Because the map is not clear about the best pathing to get to this last target. So sometimes you have to visually find the best route instead of figuring it out. Looks like there's a ramp over here. Again, it's not really clear when your map is all white. So it's very nitpicky when you have a whole bunch, but it's frustrating when you have a whole bunch of ridges and mountains, hills, and your map is white. It really doesn't give you enough clarity about proper pathing. So here we go. So here's a ramp. It's very hard to tell in the map that this is a ramp. in my opinion. One thing about my stalker is it's a little slow. Actually helps the rest of my lance stay with me, so I don't mind it too much. All these little boulders, sometimes your lance will get hung up on them, so try to avoid them whenever you can. So, can I scoot through here, or do I have to go the long way around? Again, it's kind of hard to tell. I think I can go through here. Nah, I might. Alright, so I can kind of take the high ground here, and I think finish this off. That's assuming the rest of my lance can figure out the pathing. There we go. See, the rest of my lance is kind of lost. They could have followed me, but they chose to go the long way around. Which is fine. I could certainly handle this by myself. Alright, now hopefully the pickup point isn't too far away. Got an Igor. I'll let my rest of my lance handle that. Alright, come on, Battle Master. Get out of my way. As you can see, this whole lance has fared really well. So we could probably do some Warzone repairs. As usual, my mech tends to take the most damage. Alex of Commando Gaming would say that's because I'm a horrible pilot, but I like to think that's just because, number one, I'm distracted by the tactical picture, and number two, I tend to take on the largest threats on the map. So, or I could be a horrible pilot. I'll let people judge in the comment section. Certainly not above some constructive criticism. The biggest thing I'm guilty of, and it's probably pretty universal, is overheating. So, something I could probably do a better job with. Now that was a pretty good mission from a damage taken standpoint. The key is always how much salvage that you get. If I get good salvage, then it was a pretty smooth mission. And I've got no problems. If we didn't get that much salvage, then it's kind of a bust. At this stage of the game with the mechs that I have to get over 1 million in salvage to really make it worth mission. And as you can see here, we did not get any mechs. So the question is can we? Yeah, we got right to the 1 million threshold. Plus we got a decent payout. Plus we got light damage. Yeah, I mean, it's a profitable mission. Not what I would like, because the reality is that 1 million in salvage really ends up being about 400,000 C-bills in salvage. So kind of a negative situation there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually immediately repair these guys, because there's so little damage that we should be able to get another mission out of these guys. before we have to go to the industrial hub. Yep, that's for sure. So we're doing a good job of keeping our mechs available. So I think we have one more mission here. Probably this is going to be the last mission of this video. It's another raid. We're getting our ton of raids here. You know what? I'm going to lower our damage coverage, pump up that C-bill payout, because we're not really getting a lot of damage here. So 345 should be enough. Alright. So as you can see, we're rotating mechs that we used on previous missions. They're getting repaired and they're available again. Alright, hopefully this will load up pretty quickly. Looks like we're stuck from a loading standpoint. So what you can do is you can switch your mechs around. Go to the home screen, confirm your lance. And we're still stuck, so we're going to do that again. There we go. Magically, that cleared up our loading issue. Now, one downside is my pilot is almost close to maxed out, so I need to get more points for missiles, so I need to try to use missiles more. And then it's really just maxing out my skills, which will happen over time. Now, one of the downsides is once your player character is maxed out, I wish you could take other pilots instead of always taking your player character. I mean, it makes sense because you're you, right? But it would be nice if you could say, you know what, my pilot's already maxed out at 60. Why don't I take out Captain Lowry and level them up, and then I'll level up another pilot as well. So, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way, so we have to be in a situation where we have to deal with that. So this is going to be the last mission of this video, guys. So if raid missions are not your thing, you might want to go on to the next video. But I'll try to make it entertaining. Hopefully it's not in the snow, because snow raid missions can take forever simply because you're trying to figure out the map. Again, if there was a mod that just made all maps brown, I would download that in a heartbeat.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
All systems nominal. See, this map is much easier to clearly view what we can do from a map standpoint. actually see if we can take out some of our targets at long range here.
Scratch that target off the list.
There we go. There's one of our targets off the list. Right, so stopping off at this cliff face was worth it for that reason alone. And I think we have to cycle through this way so we can
Eliminate it.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
get to this ramp here. Ironically, my Banshee already found it before I did. Good job, Banshee. Oh. Hello, Locust. Oh, Hunchback. Some nice salvage. Try to take this guy out. Overheating as usual. And it's important to note that on this Banshee, I've maxed out every possible spot where I can put double heat sinks. There's just so many weapon systems that it runs hot. So, oh, look at this Irby kind of setting up a little ambush on us here. That was kind of cool. I mean, not cool for my lance, right? Because we took a little damage from an Irby who I'd like to engage at long range, but I've never seen an Irby actually use that much tactical thought to actually kind of set up an ambush. It might have been an accident, maybe it got stuck on a boulder or something like that, but it's definitely different. Clear out those VTOLs. Let my lance focus on these lights. Got 2 lights now, which is fine. My lance should certainly be able to handle a couple lights. Alright. Took out that target, so there's no real reason for us to wow, we've got a real hornet's nest here. Not that we can't handle it. Those VTOLs, when they get overhead, that's where it gets a little frustrating. Taking more damage on this mission I would like. Especially my Zeus is getting beat up pretty good here. We got 2 more targets. Try to go away from those turrets. There's no real reason for us to engage those. If I can get my mechs to stop going after turrets, that would be nice. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, boys. Especially my Zeus. I've got to try to minimize damage there. They keep wanting to go back and take out those turrets. Come on, guys. I don't need you to take out turrets. Taking out turrets does not help me Herbie here.
Engaging shared target ID.
Try to take that out at long range. Not the best place to shut down. Oh, thanks for the assist there, Banshee. Lots of turrets on this mission. Not more than normal. Don't really have a problem with it.
Copy. Last target identified.
Let's see if I can.
Never gets old.
Yeah, I can't go around. We got one more target here, and then we can end this video. No need to go to the industrial hub yet. Probably can go a couple more rounds. But as you can see, like this Zeus, for example, probably has enough damage now that it can't.
That was a great showing, Commander. Our benefactor will
It's
be
probably
pleased with
not.
our success.
Doesn't make sense for me to repair that in the war zone. So that's kind of a good example of a situation where eventually attrition is going to get to the point where you want to just do some repairs while you're in the war zone or in the industrial hub. But my Banshee, my Black Knight, and my other Banshee could probably all be repaired and go for another mission. So if you could get 3 out of 4 of your Lance repaired in the field, theoretically that gives you another 2 or 3 missions before you have to go to the industrial hub, if my math is correct. Let my Lance finish off that target.
Mission complete, Commander. Let's go home.
One last kill. So let's see how we did on the salvage department for that mission. And then we're going to be wrapping this video up. As I said, I know videos have been a little light this last week. We should get some significant video production time available tomorrow. You know, usually on a day where I have most of the day free for recording, we can hammer out 4 or 5 videos and space them out throughout the next week. And usually the videos tend to be a little longer on the weekends than weekdays. Alright, so we got a good payout. Looks like we've got some good salvage here. You know, they're lights, but you know, I'll take it. For sure. Any good medium lasers? No. So we'll just take that AC5. Nice return on salvage here. As you can see, the Zeus probably is so damaged that we won't be able to go another round on the Zeus, and that's fine. Eventually, you do have to go to the industrial hub just to sell all this salvage anyways, so. But we can repair our Banshee. The Zeus would be a little too expensive. Let's see, we can repair this other Banshee, and we can repair this Black Knight. So eventually attrition is going to add up to the point where we can't move forward. So we're not going to do any more videos here, but let's figure out our next plan of action. We do want to work our way back to the industrial hub there. So the question is, do we do this demolition contract, this raid contract, and then go back for repairs? That's probably the best thing to do. So we'll head to this demolition contract. We're not going to do that mission. We'll save that for the next video. But if we do 2 more missions and then we head back to the industrial hub. Oh, we have 3 available contracts here on this planet. 2, 3. Including a 3-mission operation. So the question is, do we have enough mechs to do a 3-mission operation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right now. So assuming we can do some spot repairs, I might even bite the bullet and maybe repair the Zeus, even though it's going to be expensive. Because there's enough missions here, I might, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break my rule here because there's so many missions to take that we're actually going to do these repairs. It's just armor for the most part. Because by the time these 2 are done, we should be able to use them on this planet. So that's going to make it worth it. But as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mechs that we can sell now. So salvage is adding up. That's what you want to do. Get as much sweet salvage as you can. So that's going to do it for this video. It looks like we're going to have some interesting missions on the next video because we can do a multiple mission video, multiple drop mission, which is really where you get some significant salvage opportunities. So we'll see you on the next video. Please subscribe to our channels, Commando Gaming and Battletech Battles, and hit that like button with a PPC on this video, and we'll talk to you soon.